All right, we'll do some warm-ups and see about our hip flexors today. So let's stretch them out a little bit. We'll begin in, of course, mountain pose. So feet hip width apart, toes straight ahead, sitting bones down. Activate your core, bring your shoulders back and down, and your crown to the ceiling. Spread your toes out, no gripping, and reach your head to the ceiling. And then inhale, arms up at shoulder level. Exhale, hands to your heart. Stretch out to the front, keep your shoulders down, and clasp your hands behind you, just gently fingertips together. Press your hands down and lift your heart. Stretch that front of your thigh area, especially as you lift your hips. Exhale over. Pivot at your hips. Come on down with your head as far as it wants to go. Up with your hands. Then move your chin around. Release your neck a little bit. Sitting bones up for that back of your leg stretch. And then bend your knees and work your way back up. And again, lift your heart, stretch the front of your body into a back bend. Keep stretching through your neck as well, no crunching. So don't lift your chin too high. Inhale upright, release your arms, and just take a moment scanning through your body, noticing your response. And again, arms at shoulder level, hands to your heart, stretch to the front, and clasp your hands the opposite way behind you. Press them down as you stretch the front of your body, and pivot over as you exhale. Lift your sitting bones, bring your hands maybe a little further toward your head. Remember, personal practice. And then slowly from the bottom of the spine, wind back up. And again, stretch into your back bend. Lengthen through the neck, out through the whole back of your body, as well as front. Inhale upright, release your arms, and get ready to stretch your sides. So one arm down, the opposite arm out, shoulder down, palm to the ceiling, hand above your shoulder. Push the hands away and get that stretch going. No twist, just lean to the side. And then push the foot you're leaning away from down and feel the ribs stretch apart a little more. Keep your arm next to your ear and both shoulders facing the front. And then inhale upright, release that arm, and bring the other one out, palm to the ceiling, hand over your shoulder. Push the arms away, but the shoulders down, and then lean to the side. And again, just feel the spine moving laterally, those ribs opening as you push the foot and hand away from each other. And then come on back up and release. And we'll do our twist real quick. Just stretch that spine apart. Bring your arms at shoulder level, palms to the ceiling, hands over your shoulders, and clasp your elbows. Spread your toes out, stretch your whole spine, and turn to one side. A breath in, and exhale over. And just come as deeply into that as your body wants, with your arms right next to your ears. Maybe lift the sitting bones with the weight on both feet as evenly as you can. And then inhale your way back up. Again, stretch that thigh area as you lift your heart and pull your elbows back. But remember, don't overdo your low back. And then inhale upright, exhale to the center and switch your arms, balance it out, and stretch open again. Exhale to the opposite side, spread your toes, keep the weight on both feet, and exhale over into twist. Lift your sitting bones, relax your whole body, and keep the weight on both feet when you're ready to inhale your way up. And again, stretch everything as you come into that upper body for your back bend, lengthening through the whole front. Shoulders are down. Don't forget to breathe. Inhale upright, exhale around to the center, shoulders down, fingertips up. Keep the fingers reaching high, the shoulders pulling down, and bring the hips over the ankles as you pull your hands back and look up. And then swan dive forward, pivoting at the hips, coming over halfway, and then into ragdoll. And just hang, pull in deeper with your hands behind your legs if you want to. And then arms releasing, slowly work your way back up to standing. Take a moment there, feel your body a little more activated, hopefully a little more stretch through those hip flexors at the front of your thighs, and come to the side of your mat. Bring your hands to prayer position, shoulders down, sitting bones down, crown high. Look at your hands and inhale, coming into a little back bend, looking at your thumbs, stretching that whole front of your body. And again, let's swan dive forward, chest leading, come all the way down into ragdoll, and slide up into the halfway up stretch. Elbows, knees, spine are straight, toes spreading out, feet hip width apart. And then bend your knees, hands to the floor, or if you need to raise the floor some blocks, and step your right foot back for a lunge to start stretching that hip flexor a little bit more. So press back through your heel, get your hips sinking down, feel the stretch, just be gentle. And then bring your knee down just above the kneecap or a pad under it. And then slide your toes even further back for a little more stretch if that works for you. You can stay there or come on up and stretch with those hands on your knee. So sink through the hip, just relax there. Breathe into it, deepening as much as your body needs. And then hands beneath your shoulders, tuck your toes, but not your and bring your knee up, not your hip, and press again back through the heel. Feel that stretch on that right leg along the front. And then push up and ragdoll. Palms together, inhale, and come all the way up. And again, a little back bend, stretching that whole front of your body as I turn around. So go ahead, feel those hips open a little bit more. And let's swan dive again on the other side. So coming on down, slide your hands up into the halfway up stretch. And then bending your knees, hands under your shoulders or on the floor or block. And left foot steps back. Keep that right knee right above your ankle, remember. Make sure you're not going beyond your toes or out or in. And dropping that knee to the floor as you let that hip flexor get a good gentle stretch. Relax there. Pad if you need to, or bring your hands to your knee and sink down through the hips. Relax, breathe into it. Just let everything release any tension. And again, bringing your hands under your shoulders to the floor. Tuck your toes, lift your knee, not your hip. Feel the stretch and push forward. Relax a moment in that forward position and then hands together, coming all the way up. And again, a nice stretch on the front of your body, getting that hip flexor really opening a little bit more. And then again, let's swan dive forward all the way over into that halfway up stretch. And once again, bending your knees, hands to the floor, step that right foot into your lunge. Make sure your knee is over your ankle on the front leg. Check your positioning, push down through that hip, and out through the crown. Shoulder blades towards your waist. And then again, bringing your hand or your knee down. Let your hip get a little more stretch, bringing your hands to the front and up toward the ceiling. Again, sink down through that hip. Make sure you're padded if you need to under the knee. And make as much of a back bend as that hip flexor wants to stretch. Take a breath. If that's enough, stay there or bring your hands behind you and push them down. Again, lifting your heart maybe a little higher, feeling that hip flexor maybe stretch a little bit more as you push the hands toward your knee. And then releasing your hands, Bring them back down to the floor. And again, tuck the toes under and lift the knee, not the hip, feeling that stretch along your leg and push forward, releasing it. Palms together, inhaling, and again coming up and lifting your heart. Feel the whole front of your body stretching and getting a good opening through those hips. And then for the other side, we're going to once more swan dive forward, up into the halfway up stretch. Spread your toes, bend your knees, hands under your shoulders, and back into lunge with that left leg back. Again, let the hips sink down, relax into it, and bring your knee down, right above the kneecap, remember, or padded under your knee. Again, check your positioning on that front leg, and then once more, either hands to your knee or sweeping up into a little bit more stretch for that hip flexor. Staying there, relaxing and exhaling, or bringing your hands back down and clasping, pushing the hands toward the knee. Again, feel the chest expand, the hip flexor lengthen even more as you relax the hip toward the floor. Take a moment breathing there. And when you're ready, releasing your hands from whichever position you're in, right under your shoulders, tuck the toes, lift the knee, stretch into that stretch on the back leg. And again, pushing forward, relax. Take a moment there, releasing those hip flexors. And then once more, inhale up and into the back bend. So once more, feel that stretch right through those hip flexors on the front of your thighs. Breathe into it and stretch your head back. Remember, don't lift your chin too high. Everything's stretching through your back as well as your front. Swan dive forward and again into your halfway up stretch. Exhale, bend your knees, hands to the floor. Step one foot back for your lunge and then plant your palms and bring the other foot back. Press through your heels in plank position. And then we're going to sink the hips down toward the floor in a little up dog position, either toes on the floor, flattened, or tucked under. Sink the hips as far down as they want for that hip flexor stretch, however much you'd like. Chest forward, shoulders, shoulder blades down. If that's too much for your wrists, remember, you can always go on your forearms. And then tuck your toes. And we're going to go up into down dog. Position your feet, push your sitting bones back, and step your right foot forward. Take a moment there, feel that back hip, let it sink down. And then push forward, relax and ragdoll. And again, inhale your way up into that front body stretch. In the slight back bend with your hands behind you looking up. Take a moment there. And of course, we're going to balance the body one more time. So let's do another swan dive, pivoting over into our halfway up stretch. Bend your knees, hands to the floor under your shoulders, left foot back into the lunge. Let it sink down. And then palms flat once more. Coming back with that second foot into plank. Get as straight as you can to start. And then drop your hips. Either toes still under, coming into up dog with those knees off the floor, or flattening your toes, knees still up for that hip flexing stretch. Take a moment, breathing. Exhale any tightness. And then tuck your toes if they're not tucked. And again, push up and back into down dog. Take a breath and slowly bring your knees to the floor and we'll come into child pose. As you get there, just take a moment, breathing, exhaling tension and relaxing. Feel that release on your hip flexors right there at the top of your thighs And don't forget, take a few breaths and just relax. Lots of stretch through those hips. And then inhaling up, we're going to do just a little baby camel. So again, it's a hip flex stretcher. You're going to bring the hands next to your feet, fingertips toward your knees, and then lean back and lift your hips just a little bit, just a gentle pressure in your hands, and get that front of your hip and thigh area lifting a little bit more. Take a moment and breathe. And then chin toward your chest and come on and sit all the way up and come into staff position. Take a moment there, feeling that release through your hips. Take a moment and breathe. Just enjoy the sensations going on through that whole stretched area. Take a moment and breathe. Exhale tension. And then we're going to come again into child pose, releasing the hip joints and relaxing the shoulders. Bring your hands out to the front, toward the sides of the mat, pivoting up, slide the feet back, come all the way down on your belly. Feel those hips as you go. And then turn your head to one side, hands, palms up at your sides, shoulders down. Take a breath or two, feet hip width apart. And then exhale and turn the other direction. Take a moment there, just relaxing, letting the neck stretch, letting your whole body stretch along the floor. And then turn your face toward the mat. Turn your palms down under your thighs. And bring your chin forward. We're going to do a locust. So slide your feet back, hip width apart. Focus on the right foot. Keep stretching it out as you bring that hip up, or that foot up. Hip down. Keep both hip bones on the floor or on your arms, wherever they more comfortably go. And keep the toes reaching out through the ball of the foot area. And just keep raising that foot as high as it wants to go for that stretch on the front of your thigh. Take a breath. Relax and bring it maybe a little higher. And then as you exhale, slowly lower that leg, still stretching it out. And tuck your forehead toward the mat. So if that neck gets too much, you can bring your forehead to the mat whenever you need to, remember. And then again, we're going to, of course, balance with the other side. Feet stay hip width apart. Slide that chin back forward, shoulders down. Stretch the feet back. Keep stretching through the left toes as you bring the leg up, but the hip down. And again, go only as far as it wants to go. Take a moment, breathing, relaxing, shoulders down, palms toward the floor. Reach out through the ball of the foot toe base area. Lift that leg maybe a little higher if it keeps that hip still down. Feel the stretch. And then slowly exhale and bring that foot back to the floor. And again, tuck your forehead. Take a breath or two. And relax. You can keep your hands where they are or clasp them underneath you for both feet together in our locust. It's more challenging, so do be careful if you need to. Slide your chin forward, shoulders down. Take a few breaths, just relax. Slide those feet out, both feet hip width apart, stretching out. And then pressing your hips down into your arms or floor, lift both feet up. And again, only as far as they want to go. It's going to strengthen your lower back. So if you have back issues, remember, be gentle. But keep stretching through the toes, through the ball of the foot area, as you raise those feet as high as they want to go. Only as high as your body wants. Don't overdo it. This is strengthening that low back Stretching your hip flexors. And of course, a little bit of toning for your abs as well. So raise those feet maybe a little bit more, going only as far as your body wants. And then slowly bring the feet back down. Release your arms, tuck your forehead to the floor, bring your hands under your shoulders, and then push back into a hip releasing, back stretching child pose. Take a few breaths there. Exhale, just relaxing. And then inhaling, sit up on your heels, sliding off, and bring your legs all the way to the end of the mat. Take a moment in staff position, getting that core activated. Shoulders above your hips, crown reaching to the ceiling. Feel those shoulders relaxing down and back. Press out through your heels, toes coming back, knees up toward the ceiling. And then using your core for support, slowly lower to the floor. As you come all the way down, just take a moment there, reclined integration, shoulders down, back gently down. Exhale any tension. And feet hip width apart. So we're going to turn the hands, palms down at your sides, and do a little bridge work. So go ahead, press your back down, and then bend your knees, or heels right next to your sitting bones, knees straight up. So remember, roll in at the top of the thigh if you need to make sure those knees don't spread apart. Press your back gently down with those sitting bones toward your heels. Just get that whole back connected. Spread your toes. Make sure the feet are hip width apart and the knees are hip width apart. And just relax a moment. Press the back down. Feel the contraction. And then as you inhale, the hip bones go up, stretching that hip flexor area into your bridge position. Come onto your shoulders, not your neck. Press into your feet. Lift the hip bones maybe a little bit more. And then clasp your hands under you. Press the fingers into the floor and the arms and move up a little higher onto your shoulders, not your neck. Make sure the back of your head stays on the floor. Knees still straight up, hips lifting even higher if you can manage for that hip flexor stretch. So again, where you put your focus, that's where the work is going on. So look to focus at those hip bones and maybe press them up a little higher as you press into your feet. Down into your arms and shoulders as well. Make sure your neck isn't overworking. Take a moment and bridge. Just breathe, feel it, lift those hips maybe higher. And then releasing your hands, your shoulders, your shoulder blades, ribs, and spine all the way down. Feel that release through the hip flexors, a little bit easier on your legs. And relax the shoulders. Hands still, palms down at your sides. Feet hip width apart, knees hip width apart. And of course, we're going up into another bridge. So once again, pressing down with that whole spine, sitting bones toward your heels. Take those hip bones up as you press just gently into your arms and hands and feet. Keep the head on the floor, not your neck. And then clasp the opposite way under you. So whichever finger was inside before, put the other one in. Again, pressing into your arms and hands, lift up onto your shoulders, and lift those hip bones even higher. Feet hip width apart, knees hip width apart, lift straight up with the hips. Make sure everything's nice and even toward the ceiling with the whole front of your body. The higher you get those hips going, the more that hip flexor stretches. So let that happen if that's working for you. Be gentle, of course, if you need to. And don't overwork if your tendons are acting up. Take a breath. Exhale, lift the hips. Maybe a little bit more. And once again, releasing your hands and shoulders and spine to the floor. Take a moment, feel that release through the hips. Exhale any tension. We're going to do another. And again, if that's going to be more than you need, just do just a gentle version once more. You can always go back to a previous version. For now, hands palms down, shoulders down, sitting bones toward your heels, back pressing down, and lift the hips one more time into your bridge. Feet hip width apart, knees hip width apart, head on the floor, not your neck. Clasp your hands underneath. And again, work up onto your shoulders as much as you'd like, hips going up. Stay in this supported version or extend your legs out. And again, lifting the hips. So keep it as straight as possible if that's working for you, or keep those knees bent under your heels, under your knees and hips in whichever position going up. Press into your arms and shoulders and feet. And then if your feet are out, bring them back in. Release your hands, and again, work your way, spine back to the floor. Take a breath, exhaling tension for one last version of that. So again, heels near your sitting bones, feet flat, knees straight up. Press the back gently down and lift your hips straight up, knees and feet hip width apart. Come onto your shoulders, not your neck. Clasp under you the opposite way. Work up onto the shoulders. Stay there. Or go into our feet extended out position. Or bring your hands under your hips and go into a little supported version. So the hands support your hips as your hip bones go up. Either a bent knee or you can be straight in that position. And then bringing your heels in if they're out. Release your hands and your shoulders, shoulder blades, and ribs all the way spine to the floor. Take a moment there. Relax, bringing your arms out to T position for our twist. So press your back down, extend your legs out. And we'll bend the knee on the right leg, put the foot on the left thigh, and roll all the way over to the left side. Hands together and knee down. Bring your hand, left hand to the knee, right hand to the ceiling, and move into your twist. Hand coming at shoulder level behind you toward the floor. It may not make it, that's okay. Let gravity pull you into the twist as far as you need to go. The more you hold your knee on the floor, the more that low back gets in the twist. Feel that hip releasing as you're in that bent knee position. Exhale, let the shoulders come toward the floor as much as they want for that middle back to twist. And keep your head turning for your neck twist. Exhale and just release any tightness, as always, letting the twist happen and never forcing it. When you're ready to release, let go of that knee, roll onto your back, slide into T position, and get ready, of course, to twist to the other side. Sitting bones toward your heels, bend your knee, foot to your right thigh, rolling to the right. Keep your head down, remember, don't overdo your neck, knee to the floor, hands together, and then hold your right hand on the knee. Left arm right above your shoulder and lower it behind you as you turn your head as well. So go ahead into your twist on this side, feeling that hip area, what it's doing as it releases into the twist. So the more the knee stays on the floor, the more that low back hip area is in your twist. Arm coming toward the floor for that middle back and head turning for your neck. Exhale, honor your body, go only as far as you need to in this twist on this side this day. Take a breath, just relax. And again, when you're ready to release, just let go of your knee, rolling onto your back, slide the foot down, bring your hands into corpse position, and take a moment getting into your final relaxation. Let the toes come toward each other. Let the whole front of your body release through the hips, through the belly, through the legs. Arms and shoulders relaxing, palms up toward the ceiling, shoulders sinking down. Roll your head side to side. Let the neck ease and relax as well. Deep breaths in, letting your body just relax and release any tension, growing heavy and sinking deep into that surface beneath you. Breathe deep and let everything go. And as your body totally relaxes and those hips release and relax, just allow your awareness of your body to release from your attention. As those thoughts release, know that other thoughts will come to you. Let them go as well. It's the job of your mind, remember, to always produce thoughts. It's your choice whether you pay attention. So let the thoughts drift in and out without attention. No awareness of the past or anticipation of the future. Just let your hips release, your shoulders relax, your mind float, and your awareness release both your body and your mind. Turn that attention inward to the peace within and fill yourself, your body, your being with peace. And if you can keep relaxing even longer, take your time. If it's time to get ready for the rest of your day, though, just begin drawing energy and awareness with the breath back to the moment, to the room, to your body. Just moving your body gently, stretching where you need to, and getting ready for that final yoga hug of appreciation. So bring your sitting bones toward your heels, back gently down. Draw your heels toward your hips and your knees up toward your heart. Feel those hips release in that forward position. Wrap your arms around, give yourself that appreciative yoga hug. Let your body know you appreciate its yoga work today and the work your body does for you every day. And when you're ready to release, head and feet to the floor, just roll to the side and sit back up, getting ready for whatever's ahead in your world today. Thanks for joining me.